It's Wednesday! You know what that means! I'm better than you, and you know it! You fucking mark! Listen, I get it! Calm down, bro!
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Jedi Network here live on a Wednesday night for your AEW Dynamite Spring Break review. I am your host, PGH Chris, and tonight we are going to talk about a wild night, a bunch of championship matches, some people being on the show for the first time ever or in a long time, and a new AEW World Champion. But first, we get into the video. Before we get into anything else, I want to let you guys know, as always, the Sports Jedi Network is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes. Use your promo code TEXTDUDE, save 20 to 59463, and we'll send you a code for 20% off your next order. You know we've always been affiliated with Dude Wipes since the beginning, and we really appreciate their support, so go support them, as well as Blackout Coffee. Use your promo code Rumble or Sports Jedi 20 to save yourself 20% off your order. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Rumble, as well as G Fuel Energy with code PJChris to save yourself 20% off. Guys, I'm not alone here on a Wednesday night. Tonight, I am here with my co-host, Hoss Knuckle Brew. What's up, brother? How are we doing?
I'm in utter shock, brother. I'm in shock. I'm hurt.
We knew this was happening. We talked about this for a while. We knew this was happening. I mean, the chat's starting hot. They're starting off with what we just got done witnessing. 3 weeks in a row. Want to review here. We're gonna start with the main event. I normally do a traditional review where I review from start to finish. But, man, there's just a lot to talk about in this main event scene, and we're going to start there. First off, I do want to start with the beginning, because they teased this coming up right away. Like, I thought it was weird where Renee's like, yo, Maxwell, like, you have a match tonight. And he's, like, clueless. Like, how do you not know you have a match tonight? Like, did you get that? Like, I know that's just like I'm not really nitpicking it, but I'm like, for somebody who's so active on social media, like, you're like, how are they going to play it to where he comes to the building and they don't know that Tony made this official?
It's like the Death Rider story last year, man. The story was in a briefcase, Chris. Tony Khan had this under wraps. He made sure, zip lips, nothing got out. So I appreciate Tony Khan for keeping that story under wraps just for the night, for the surprise. So shout out to him.
Fair, yeah. Giving some Tony Khan praise here. I liked it, but they went out to the ring. Darby made his entrance. MJF comes out in the suit, does the promo. MJF, the key line that got Darby Allin was MJF says that he's not ready. And before Darby Allin could even get his words out, you see he's emotional as hell. He grabs the mic from MJF. He's crying while telling his story, talking about, obviously, he made a name for himself about 10 miles away at the Buddy Wayne Academy. We've heard that story multiple times. I think Darby did a good job setting up. They obviously, Danielson says he got the text from Tony Khan. They're making this official in the main event tonight. I actually liked this in the terms of, I didn't know how this crowd was going to be, because, even with Winnipeg and Jericho, I didn't think they were hot necessarily. I'm not saying they were terrible, but I didn't think they were hot. So I was kind of curious to see how Darby's going to go hometown reaction, but that promo, I think he did a good job of getting his people, maybe not us, maybe not you watching at home, but he got the people, his people in the building behind him, and I thought it was a good build up to the main event. And there is history between these guys, so I like their promo segment. Hoss, what did you think of this opening segment? What did you think about Darby's promo, and did this sell you to want to watch their main event later on in the show?
They put Darby in the DJ position. He was moving the crowd with his emotional energy. I didn't feel it here at home. It wasn't for me. That crowd, they knew the assignment. So kudos to them, all the people in Everett, Washington, because the tears started to come out of Darby's eyes, and you can tell that they've been with him throughout this whole ride with AEW. Every match, they're on bated breath, like, man, what is Darby gonna do next? Is he gonna make it out of here? Now we're here. So as a Darby fan, I can empathize and be like, okay, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. So yeah, Darby did his job by getting everybody emotionally involved.
Yeah, and I liked it. Again, I'm somebody who I'll talk about this now because I am going to lead into the main event now. Obviously, we know Darby's the new world champion. First off, a few things before the match itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I literally, before we're watching the end of it here on our while we're doing our production meeting, all that stuff, mic checks, I literally said MJF is going to get Brody King. And it basically was that. I mean, Darby just hit a bunch of coffin drops. He's your new AEW world champion. Sting, even before the match comes out. Before the match, I like the presentation they shot. The camera angles where they had MJF walking with the title. They had Darby walking with Renee. It gave me that sports championship vibe to it, and I enjoyed it. But Sting comes out. We got the surprise right then and there. Hoss, I know you felt the same way. We knew right then and there Darby was winning. That was official. I didn't need to see the rest of the show. Few things. And then I'm going to let Hoss go, and then I'm going to get into the comments here. Darby Allin is one of the reasons I started watching AEW. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the character. It was different. He gave us a lot of his personal upbringings early on in his AEW career. I would feel like our personalities are the same. I'm not really talking about him right now in an in-ring point. I'm talking about just Darby Allin, the AEW wrestler. I gravitated towards it. And a lot of the kids did too. I mean, you saw him with the face paint, all of them with the face paint. My point is he's super over. The AEW fans like him. I'm not mad about this. I'm glad, let me rephrase that. I'm not mad about him getting his moment because I think he's earned it. I think this is a long time coming, and he genuinely is a good dude. What it seems like. I obviously don't know him personally, but to me, he seems like he loves AEW. One thing he's been very, very public about how much he loves that company. I mean, how he went to the top of Mount Everest and planted the flag there, which is my problem. Which is why I'm a little bit, why I'm like, damn, I wish I was more excited about this, because to me, Hoss, when you saw Sting, when you saw all these people come out at the end, wouldn't have that made sense if that was at last year's All In Texas? Yeah. Instead of, I understand Everest is a long dream, something you want to do, and good for you, dude. You fucking did it. Not many people can obviously say they did it. But my point is, you would have gotten that bigger moment against, I'm not going to say a bigger opponent, a real credible opponent in Jon Moxley, where the story with him was, we haven't seen the AEW World Championship in months. And it was Darby, it was the Death Riders and why they sent Darby Allin out. The fans wanted Darby, not Hangman. They did the Owen to whatever. Darby was going to win the Owen.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, Hoss, this is a year too late. 9 months too late, to be exact. I like it. Before I go, I do want to read this comment. I am a lifelong WWE fan. The Awful Mania build left me wanting one thing. My first time watching a full AEW show was Dynasty on Sunday. My first Dynamite tonight. Everything made sense. It was beautifully told. Well, if this is your first time watching a Dynamite and a Dynasty, a pay-per-view, I'm happy you feel that way. I think, AEW could use the new fans like yourself. Not everything's perfect. Not everything's terrible. I think the pay-per-views, you're always going to get a bang for your buck. So much that I want to go to AEW All in London now. See, at least one person that, AEW got one person invested tonight. And as a new AEW fan, the standout characters to me are Darby, MJF, Hangman, and Moxley. Love Darby's half-dead gimmick and his adrenaline junkie lifestyle blurs kayfabes, the gens of Jeff Hardy. And Haas, I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards him. Like I said, like Alexander in our chat, which Alexander, I appreciate you joining me and Haas here on a Wednesday night after the AEW Spring Breakthrough Dynamite show is over. Haas, I'm going to give you the floor, brother. What did you think about this main event? What did you think of the results? The floor is yours.
I'm going to start off with the match. I'm going to go with my scarf is going to give you the answer. The match was mid. Was not a fan.
Hey, I like that. That's tough.
Very much mid. So I'm biased. I'm an MJF fan. I was with Big Hebrew. So this outcome upsets me. I was totally shocked. And when it comes to Darby Allin, I'm not a fan of Darby. I don't hate Darby. It's just the style that he wrestles. I'm not for the crash dummy style. You would probably mistake me for a fake. I'm like, I do not want this man to get mortally wounded out here.
Trust me, I agree.
When they be just tossing his body and ragdolling him like they're playing 2K26, I just be worried for him most of the point. And I don't even be worried about other grown men like this, but just watching him wrestle like that, I'm like, this is just ain't for me. So kudos to you. They sit there and watch him with so much energy and, emotion. I get it. But for my energy going towards the match is I want to know the direction. Where are we going? Because I sit up here trying to find out where the narrative is going to take Darby. And like you said, this would have hit harder if it was at All In Texas last year. And I'll tell people this. I was there in Texas. I was there on site. So when I saw Darby come down from the rafters and everything, I was like, this would have been great if he was in there instead of Hangman. So I get exactly what you're saying. And I'll say this.
Real quick, before you go. Since you were at All in Texas, was the pop for Darby okay when he came through the rafters?
The pop was very loud. The pop for him and the pop for Bryan Danielson was very loud.
Okay.
Yeah. So going, and I agree with you. If he was in there instead of Hangman, it would have been a greater pop. You would have got a bigger satisfaction of opening that briefcase. So like you said, this is a year too late. But I will say this: if I am the one, I have to trust Tony Khan. I haven't trusted Tony Khan when it comes to logical booking and momentum. So this is his guy. This is the mascot of AEW. Like we can say the mascot of WWE is Jey Uso. He had his championship moment. This is the mascot of AEW. He carries that flag. Like you say, he put it on Mount Everest. So if Tony Khan doesn't build a nice championship reign for Darby, there might not be hope for anyone else. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to trust Tony Khan on this one because I know this is probably his favorite guy. So we'll see how it plays out. But the match, not a fan of the match at all. They should have produced that better.
I just don't know what they're going to do from now until May 24th with Darby Allin as world champion. Like, again, one of the reasons why I'm not so thrilled about this decision, and the reason why I asked you that question for a reason, how loud was that Darby Allin pop, is because, and I've heard a couple other people say this, and I agree, this is the coldest Darby Allin has felt in 7 years of him being in AEW. You had him come back after that. They did nothing with him. They had him go play six-man tag matches with Orange Cassidy and Death Riders. They had him do the feud with Gabe Kidd, which eventually went nowhere because we don't know For 1 minute, Gabe Kidd was Death Riders, and then the War Dogs come. All of a sudden, it's Gabe Kidd and the War Dogs and Darby Allin get involved. He was mixed matched. He was I don't think he was good booked well after All In, even till now. Now, could this get the fans more invested in Darby? Can this make Darby more hot? I think for what, maybe 3 weeks? I don't think it. I do not think he defends that championship until he's going to lose it next. And I think he loses his first defense is basically my point.
Really?
Yes. I mean, okay, if it's like on Dynamite next week, then no. But if let's say MJF does come back and MJF comes back or whatever, and they build towards it, I don't think you're going to have Darby Allin not be the world champion till May. I also don't think he should defend it at all, because anybody else I think could be world champion right now. If you have him, not saying he's going to go against Andrade again, because it wouldn't make no sense logically, but you know, they like to throw around. So what if he does go against Tommaso Ciampa? I don't want to see him go against Tommaso Ciampa for what? I think realistically, Tommaso Ciampa should be winning that AEW title, but he's not, because obviously Darby just won it. They're going to want him going to the pay-per-view. He's going to lose it to MJF at Double or Nothing. We know that. I don't understand what you could really do with Darby Allin from now until May 24th for, his title reign to be interesting. That's why he should have had the Hangman run. And then it should have been Darby versus MJF at Revolution. I don't know, because now Hangman can't even challenge for the title anymore. So why didn't you just do this now and have MJF go over? Boom, you could have done Hangman now. Boom, Ospreay. Something. They did this 9 months too late is my point. And I just don't know, Haas, what they could do until now, May 24th in New York, where we know MJF is going to win that title back.
I think Darby's going to have at least 3 title defenses. I think he's going to defend this belt probably 2 or 3 straight Dynamites in a row. And we're going to start with Tommaso Ciampa, and they're going to probably just get another guy to come out there after that match, after he goes over Ciampa, and that's going to be your next challenger. I just cannot see Tony Khan having his guy. Like, Darby is one of the pillars of this company, correct? I cannot see him having that belt across his waist, riding on that skateboard, and not at least for a few weeks to defend it. This is the man who put your flag on Mount Everest. He got to flash that belt just a little bit. He has to. This is one of Tony Khan's favorite toys. I know people hate when we talk like that, but this is one of his favorite guys. Darby Allin is going to defend this title at least twice. I think 3 or 4 times, because we're a month away from Double or Nothing, right? We're a month away, right?
Yeah, a little over a month away.
Okay. I can easily see this being an open challenge. I can easily see it.
Okay. Yeah, and before I get into who, because I'm seeing some good comments here. Imagination Project, I appreciate you for joining me and Haas here on the post show here after Dynamite. He's kind of, I don't think he's comparing Darby Allin and Mick Foley per se, right? I think he's trying to say where, you know, you're not going to put the title on Mick Foley when you have Rock, Austin, Triple H, and all these other guys, but he can give you a moment. Do you kind of see this being the case with Darby Allin? Not to obviously compare the two. I don't think that's what Imagination Project in the chat's trying to do. I just think if you look at it in that terms, could it be something like that?
I can't look at it that way, because Tony Khan loves Darby too much.
Right.
Like, it's hard for me to see it that way. Vince was doing that for shits and giggles against Bischoff, in the Monday Night Wars. That was just, just to fuck with WCW. This is very sentimental to Tony Khan. I can see him being easily distraught if this title reign doesn't go the way he wanted to go. I can see him being upset. Like, this might keep him up at night. We don't know how Tony Khan lives, but with Darby Allin, I think this would just bother him viscerally if he doesn't get this right. Because I can't see Darby being a multiple time champion in this company. I can't see that.
No, and
This got to be a special ride, I believe.
There has to be, and he has to have some good. I don't know, man. I nobody comes to my mind right now. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa is the only one.
Heels. That's the problem. We don't have that many heels. I mean, what, he going to just go against the Don Callis family or the Death Riders in a row? He's already went against all of them.
I got two people for you, and I will get in the two people that challenge for the titles tonight, Tommaso Ciampa and Kevin Knight. Those are the two people I see them doing maybe an open, like you said, an open challenge or something, and they give a quote-unquote dream match scenario or a 5-star match, like they like to say online, with Darby Allin and Kevin Knight, and then they do something eventually with Darby Allin or Tommaso Ciampa, and then that's how you get MJF back before Double or Nothing. I don't know. Because I definitely think Darby Allin, I think he should go on Dynamite next week and just cut a promo, and then maybe we'll see what's next. I don't think Tony should announce, because you know him, right? Probably we're getting Collision Thursday, and no, it is not to fuck with TNA, guys. The NHL playoffs are going on. How do I know? Because I will be, if the Penguins are playing before WrestleMania, I'm watching it because it's Pennsylvania versus Pennsylvania. Go Pens. My point is, if we go on, what if something happens on Collision? It's like on Dynamite Wednesday, Darby Allin versus Tommaso Ciampa or Kevin Knight. Those two that are highly Collision guys. I could see it happening. I don't see why Darby can't make the trip to Collision because, considering that they're taping it probably right now as we speak.
Right.
That I don't know, man. I'm lost. I don't think he's. If this was last year, this would have made so much sense because we could have had Darby and MJF in the long run. This whole thing you did with Hangman, you could have. Because I'm gonna be honest, I know people are like, well, the thing is, because Forbidden Door just got announced today. Obviously, they're going to head ahead with Slammiversary. Another topic for another day, probably this weekend before WrestleMania. But people are like MJF versus Swerve. No disrespect. Swerve Strickland is literally one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. Probably top 5. What happened when he won the world title? Do you really want to see him challenge for the world title right now? I could let that breathe out for another year. I think, Haas, the way we could have, to me, this is just me. I might be the only person in the freaking world that thinks this. Like I've said, you would have had Darby Allin win the match at All in Texas, blah, blah, blah. That's one, because we knew MJF was coming back at that time to set up to win the AEW World title. I believe it was at World's End that year. You had Darby Allin lose or whatever to World's End, and then you had that rematch taking place or whatever, either Darby Allin, the rematch taking place to Revolution to build Darby up after he just came back from Mount Everest. Or if you really wanted to give Darby Allin this short little title reign, why didn't you give it to him from All in Texas instead of climbing the mountain to lose it to World's End and then do the thing with Hangman? You could have done. My point is, Haas, he was hot 9 months ago. I'm lost. I'm lost. This is what I told you that I was going to feel this way on Saturday and on Monday if this was going to happen. I'm not going to go. I'm not ranting. I'm not, I enjoyed the moment. I'm just, what does this accomplish for an AEW, for Darby Allin, for your pay-per-views coming up? I don't see it.
This is the problem when you don't have proper builds. It just don't hit. It don't hit the same. It hits real different because this just came out of nowhere. He beats Andrade on Sunday. Now he has the title shot. He wants it right now. Like that instant gratification, it doesn't really work like you want it to in wrestling, and that's the problem. And then we just had a match that didn't really hit at all either. We're like, okay, we got to the result. The match was unsatisfactory to me. How did you feel about it? Like I said, I thought it was mid. I really didn't
the actual match.
Yeah, the actual match. Did it make you feel anything?
No. You should have. You cut one of the matches, and this should have been 25 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. For as much attention that this, is getting. These are your two pillars of the company. This realistically, I know the build is obviously short notice. He just won Sunday and they're already making this official, which was my problem. We talked about this on Monday. If they would have just let Darby Allin build it up between MJF. I don't know, man. I'm very lost because do we want to see MJF chase the world title in his hometown? I'm sick of it. Gosh, I don't know, man. I thought the match was mid. It was just coffin drop after coffin drop, and these guys should have got 25 minutes.
I know myself.
Maybe 17. Maybe not 25, 17.
That match went like 5 minutes. And the thing about it just makes MJ. I know people like, man, this don't damage MJF. He's so big, this won't hurt his aura. Okay, the last 2 times we've seen him lose, he got squashed by Brody King, and this was basically a glorified squash by Darby Allin. Now look at the difference in those men's body types. Brody King is a big bruiser man, and Darby is a smaller man. Now you're telling me that MJF, who just had this title reign since December, he's out here just looking weak every other match he goes against somebody. He just had a marathon match with Kenny Omega. He just had a death match with Hangman. But he loses to Darby in 5 minutes. I mean, to like 4 or 5 coffin drops, and that's it.
And the thing is, people are gonna say, "Well, MJ or Darby hit MJF with the low blow." Yeah, so did MJF. But yes. Alexander in the chat's right. As a new fan, I enjoyed tonight, but you guys make a lot of sense. Surely you put the belt on him after climbing Mount Everest. The mainstream publicity alone would have been worth it. He already got the mainstream publicity climbing it. Imagine you do that. I agree with Alexander 100%.
That's the truth. That is the truth. That's why I said earlier, it's hard to trust Tony Khan with momentum. He don't know what to do with momentum. He doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Imagination. I definitely hear you. I definitely hear you on that one because it was a moment. I think that's what they were going for. I just hope we see this again because this is a match that it got interrupted to me by the 4 pillars. They weren't. I think they've Tony force fed that 4-pillar story because they were going to do MJF and Darby right then and there. And then they forced Sammy Guevara and Jack Perry. So I hope they run this back. I mean, I do with the good build. Maybe I forget who in the chat said it. I think it was Alexander, where it was like maybe this builds MJF into an even more ruthless heel character. Maybe he's pissed. I don't know. I see him having 2 title defenses, winning it, and then going to Double or Nothing. Because I know Double or Nothing is a little over a month away, but I mean, the AEW World title is not defended on TV often. So if you can milk it out for 2 title defenses, I think, and then you could build up the match. Because once you build up the match, and again, they did it with MJF during the Hangman storyline, where they, had him go against Kevin Knight, and they just did it with MJF and Speedball. They're not afraid to throw another championship match in there after one's already being built for a show. So it could happen, man. But I'm curious more than ever. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, that I'm curious more than ever on how the hell Wednesday nights are going to look with this guy as world champion. And I'm somebody who, again, loves Darby Allin.
Well, he's a Wednesday regular, so you're going to see him. He's not going to go away with that belt and just go into hiding. He might miss next week. It might be on a mountain somewhere with it. You know how he does it, right?
No, he's gonna be driving a fucking car, and it's gonna go off the ramp, and it's gonna
it's gonna be some wild shit. You know how this is gonna go.
Oh my god!
He's gonna come back for Collision and probably defend it on Collision. That's the crazy thing. There's no telling what you're gonna do with Darby Allin as champion. So this might be the curiosity that you're talking about. it's probably more anxious than anything. Like, what is this going to be?
Yeah.
But that could be beautiful at the same time. It could be destructive. So there's no telling. He wears the double-sided face paint and all that for a reason. You don't know what's coming with it. So I'm going to embrace it. It's chaos. I like chaos, so I will embrace it and just see how that goes. But I just wonder, like, what's the direction for going into All In? I know that's at the end of August, but we got a long way to go, and this should be fun. So let's just ride it out and see how it goes. But it's a week-to-week basis, so let's go.
Yeah, I agree. Ciampa for Dynamite defense, MJF rematch at Double or Nothing in New York. Yes, imagination project. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. WWE is so inconsistent right now that lifelong fans like me are looking elsewhere. But AEW need to keep doing their own thing. Excuse me, I cannot read tonight. Or not do things of the sake of getting more of that Mania buzz. Alexander, I agree. I think when they do their own thing, I think a lot more people are more interested. But Haas, you got anything else about the Darby Allin and MJF stuff before we talk about some other stuff that happened in the show tonight?
Oh no, we didn't give it 30 minutes. Let's go and get through the rest of this episode.
Sounds good. All right, guys. They had Ospreay and Kenny talking the back after the emotional segment there. What do you think? Just real quick, not to get too, we don't got to get into it like that. Just what do you think about Ospreay and Kenny like aligning now? Because we know that history there between these two.
I hated it. It made them look real soft. I don't like it. Like I guess they try to compare it to WWE when we had the circle jerk with Roman and Punk in their main event. It just seemed like they're having therapy. Like AJ Lee came like therapy, and I'm sorry, I'm not for these two men to be up here kissing each other on the head and crying like they're crying over an inanimate object. I can see if this was your family member or something. But come on, man, we're competing. So I get it. It might have hurt your heart, but you're gonna be right back competing for it. You're not gonna leave. Like I understand they tried to grip us with Omega, talking about I don't know if I got anything left and my body's failing me and this and that. Okay, Kenny can go there and be sad. I understand that. Will Ospreay, you just came from neck surgery and you're up here studying getting your neck pinned down by pile drivers and DDTs, but you're up here crying over this loss? Like, no, I can't have that. So it made him look too soft to me. So I didn't like the segment. I get where they were going with it. I just didn't care for that. That didn't hit. It didn't hit different for me. Didn't like it.
No, I agree. I agree with you on that one. Something that might have hit for some people wasn't. I liked it. I thought it was a good TV match. It was Tommaso Ciampa taking on 1/3 of the Rascals. Desmond and Xavier, the former Wesley in NXT. I thought it was a good TV match. I thought Desmond looked good. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa looked more dominant, got more of the offense. Desmond hit the moves that, were expected for him to hit. Tommaso Ciampa gets the win. After the match, Ciampa calls out MJF or Darby. He wants to challenge the winner of the world title. Couple things I will say. I like the match, like I said. One thing I do like about this actually is he's moving on. One thing about this show is I think a lot of people either we got something that followed up on Dynasty, like the Willow and Camille happened on Dynasty. We got that. I like how Tommaso Ciampa's moving on. He's not like, okay, I should be TNT champion. I'm challenging Kevin Knight. He's actually moving on and going to the AEW World Champion and challenging. And we might see not a fresh new face, but a fresh new face in the AEW main event scene. Haas, what did you think about this match? And what do you think about Ciampa calling out? Not just now we know it's Darby, but calling out just means, like, to me, he wants to be in that world title scene. What do you think about that and the match against Desmond?
The match was pretty good. I mean, it was nice. A lot of striking, a lot of quick movements, and a lot of transitional moves, reversals, and whatnot. They had nice chemistry in the ring. So I have no complaints on the match. My thing is with Ciampa is Does Tony Khan really like Tommaso Ciampa? Is it the nostalgia from Black and Gold days, or does he really like Ciampa in his main event picture? Because something telling me he's teasing us. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put Ciampa out there, but we're just gonna play around with it. We're not gonna put the belt on him. We're just gonna keep letting you out. Yeah, he wants all the gold. We're gonna just make it seem like he wants all the gold. He ain't gonna get no gold. We gave him the gold when he got here. He's not gonna touch my big belt no time soon. You see all these big players I got. You think I'm gonna give it to Ciampa right now? You see how you feel with Darby Allin? You love it with Darby Allin right now. You're confused with Darby Allin. What are you going to feel with Tommaso Ciampa as champion right now? What are you going to feel? I won't feel anything. Honestly.
I'm not gonna feel a damn thing.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Is that restoring the feeling that Tony Khan's been talking about? That ain't restoring the feeling. So I just can't see Ciampa holding that belt no time soon. So it's a. I hate to make it sound like because Ciampa's a good wrestler. I just don't think Tony Khan has that twinkle in his eye for him. If you get what I'm saying.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't know what you would do with Ciampa on the world title scene. I don't know how interested I am. I mean, the matches would be fine. And shout out to Aaron Loves Wrestling in the chat. I appreciate you, brother, for joining us here on Wednesday. Yeah, I could agree with you on that one. We started off the show talking about that, so I would just rewind just a tiny bit if you missed that. But yes, I do agree. Thank you, brother, for joining us. I hope you're doing well.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope you like the show. Definitely gotta get in touch with you soon. But yeah, I mean, in terms of matches, right? I think he would have good matches with an MJF or a Will Ospreay. I'm not denying that, but am I gonna be invested in the story going into it? I don't know, man. I think Ciampa's good where he's at right now. This gives him something different, gives him something to do at least for the meantime. But it's tough because, well, I don't see him going after another TNT title, and I'll get to that in a second on why. But it's tough for me to actually see him being the AEW World Champion, and I gotta agree with you, Hoss. I don't see it happening.
I think Tony Khan's finna get to the point where he's finna start pushing more of his homegrown talent. I don't think he wants to.
And that's the best thing. And that's the best thing to do because we're seeing that a lot throughout the companies and all of pro wrestling in your world title scene. AEW, the last 3 months have been MJF and Hangman. Now MJF and Darby. TNA has Santana, Steve Macklin, Santana, Joe Hendry. Santana has been with TNA not just before his return, for a long time. Whatever. In WWE, they got Roman, Punk, Cody, Orton. Like I like that. I think AEW needs to do more of that. And the reason why I really brought all that up is because I think AEW gets a lot of the perception of it's a lot of ex-WWE guys, which is true. I don't think, at least me, I'm not denying that. It's a lot of old ex-WWE guys. But their main event scene, it has been homegrown talent. So I do agree with you, Austin. I actually like that. I like that they do that.
Like the next two titles that's going to be held by ex-WWE people is going to be Mercedes with the women's title, and we're going to get Cope and Cage with the tag titles. After that, I think it's going to be straight AEW push for that.
I agree, and I hope so. But speaking of Cope and Cage, we had FTR come out. They're obviously the AEW World Tag Team Champions. They beat Cage and Cope at Dynasty this Sunday. They come out.
My channel.
Yeah, almost made me too. Stokely, I got to get into Stokely because usually I would be like, okay, and Ciampa is a workhorse. Before we actually fully move on from the Ciampa stuff, I'll read this comment. Ciampa is a workhorse, not a champion. Good for development for younger talent, but would be bad for business. Yes, I agree. He works great with. He could work good with the Kevin Knight, even if they want to do that feud. But I'll tell you in the next segment why. But even if they wanted to, I think he could do that. But yes, they come out. They FTR talking about their victory at Dynasty over Cope and Cage. Cash is, they want a moment of silence. Stokely Hathaway's yapping about David versus Goliath the entire time. Edge and Christian didn't come out at all. Stokely ended it with some corny goodbye catchphrase. Hoss, excuse my language, what the fuck was this?
I told you, I'm halfway out the door when FTR comes on my screen.
I know, I'm fully out the door right now when it comes to FTR.
I mean, if they're not wrestling, I don't want to hear them talking. Because I like Big Stoke. Stokely is the only reason I listen to them at all. Because Dax and Cash, they're charisma vacuums. They can speak. They're not scared.
They're great as a tag team. I just want to point that out there. Like they are in the ring. They are great. They do one of my favorite like tag team move sets. I love FTR because of that. But yeah, keep going. I agree. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, like in the ring, FTR as a team, no one's really touching them right now. When they say they feel like they're the best tag team of all time, they can back that up. I understand. But it's just with certain guys, they just can't speak that well. And that's why they got Stoke. And this segment just didn't hit. Like they needed Cope and Cage tonight. They did. So the fact that they were not out there, that just made FTR just linger for too long. Like you need them in doses when they're talking. Like if they're not being actively comical, it just don't work. Like I don't want to hear a long talk from Dax. I don't want to hear Cash up here try to be funny because you're not funny. You're not. It does not work. Like and we see it. We see it right there in 4K in 1080p that y'all are just some great workers. So when they are out there talking, I'm out the door. I'm like, can we please get to the next segment? So honestly, Chris, if you ask me what they said, I couldn't repeat it to you. I couldn't.
I have no idea. All I remember is Stokely talking about, and when David comes down and all this, I'm like, look, I mean, if obviously people understand the reference. I don't understand who was David in this situation. Who was he trying to say? I just didn't understand where he was going with it. Like it would have I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
The biggest thing that goes with this whole segment is they shouldn't have won on Sunday. So it just doesn't hit. Like they should have
they shouldn't have won on Sunday. They should not be your AEW tag team champions. Why do you think FTR retained?
Go ahead.
Because they're in Canada. They didn't give them. They got the win last time in Canada. I believe Cope and Christian did, but it wasn't for the tag team championships. Somebody fact check on me on that because I don't remember that pay-per-view fully. But why wouldn't you give Edge and Christian the tag team titles at Dynasty?
My whole problem is they made it personal. It'd be different if it was just for the belts. These men spiked your wife with a power driver, said she might not recover, and you go out there and you book them to lose. It makes Cope look weak. It makes Christian Cage look like he just don't give a F. Like it's just weird.
He looked when he was grabbing the chairs after Dynasty. I thought we were gonna get another Cope Christian heel turn.
See what I'm saying? Like none of it made sense. Like and it just if this was real, think about this now. Cope goes back home to Beth, and Beth's like, you didn't avenge me. What are we doing here? And you gonna let FTR go out there the next Wednesday and gloat like it's just about belts? No, you hurt my mate. You broke my wife, and I go out here and lose. Now you're gloating, talking about let's have a moment of silence. Man, come on, man. Like bad booking. In the words of Jim Cornette, shitty booking. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was, Chris.
That's why Cornette no longer watches AEW. Jim Cornette no longer watches AEW Dynamite. I love AEW too much, even though on their worst day. So it'll take me a lot to do that. But yes, Jim Cornette is not wrong at all.
Like Tony's trying to extend this out because he wants this TLC match. I've already told you how I felt about these old men in a TLC match, but Tony Khan is a masochist, so he's going to get what he wants. Is he going to be a Double or Nothing, or is he going to extend this out to Wembley, which is at the end of August? So I hope it's at Double or Nothing. Give us the TLC match then. Don't have us wait till August. Like, come on, man. Don't have us wait.
I agree.
That's my last bit on FTR for you, man.
I agree. Before we get into the Kevin Knight, Claudio, and why I think Kevin Knight, what I think is going to happen with the TNT title, we'll be back in 40 seconds with a word from Dude Wipes.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network. Independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
Shout out to Jody Threat, TNA Knockout here. Shout out to Dude Wipes, and shout out to everybody here. We were halfway done here with the show. Not halfway, but we did spend a lot of time on the main event to start. We got a couple more things to go into. I want to get you guys out of here in a fastly time, so bear with us here. We got a couple things to talk about, to get into, that I think are important. I stopped listening to Cornette when I realized he thinks the sun shines out of CM Punk's ass like Mussolini.
It's funny you bring that up. I'm actually listening to the omnibus of that right now.
That is fucking, oh my God.
It's hilarious.
Dude, shout out to Jim Cornette. My first year on the channel, I was I was doing my second year. I was doing my my last year of college. And I was one of the only people. I'm telling you not. Everyone's like, I only listen to the clips. I listen to those 4-hour podcasts. And dude, it's, oh my God. Shout out to Jim Cornette. Who has Tony Khan's number. So you might want to give him a dial to tell him about this show. But yes, so Kevin Knight versus Claudio, TNT Championship. This is first title defense from Kevin Knight since winning that TNT title at Dynasty in the Gauntlet Casino match. It was a fine match. Whatever. I don't care too much about Claudio. It was fine. This is what I think is going to happen with the TNT title. This is what I think should happen. Make it interesting. Why are Jet Speed no longer the Trios champions? Who took the pin?
Oh, it was a Speedball, right?
At CML, I thought it was Kevin Knight.
I mean, I've forgotten just that fast, but I know Kevin Knight took a lot of pinfalls over the last few months.
Can somebody in the chat fact check me on that one? Because anyway, my point is, if that is the case, even if that's not the case, but somebody still fact check me on that one. But because I would make this story even better. But either way, they're not the champions anymore. Mm-hmm. I think Kevin Knight and Speedball are gonna have a feud. I think some people might think that, some people might not. I would like it for both characters. Now, who would be the heel and who would be the face? I know some people want to see Bayley as a baby face, at least for a trial. I'm gonna be honest. I think he would be one of those baby faces that would come, or heels that would come out as cringe, because it wouldn't be authentic. See, to me, the best, if you're a good heel, you're somewhat of an asshole in real life, and you need that to be a heel and to be presented as a bad guy. I don't think Speedball has a mean bone in his body. I think Kevin Knight, you give him that attitude. He's a young kid. He has a hot, pretty looking girl in Mariah Side. He could play the glasses. He could play that heelish douchey gimmick. But what you think of this match? Do you see a Speedball Kevin Knight feud for the title? Because with Kyle Fletcher out, and if there was one person out of all these title defenses that we had tonight who's newly champion or whatever recently, I see Kevin Knight holding his title for a good amount. I'm not saying so long or so little, a good amount.
I'm with you on that. I think Kevin Knight's going to hold it for probably about 3 or 4 months. I think he probably holds it to Wembley, honestly. Because his matches are entertaining. You won't get bored with him. So that's a tip in his hat for Tony Khan. Tony Khan loves the young, athletic guys who could just sit up there and bounce around. So that's a big thing for Kevin Knight. And I believe Tony Khan sees Kevin Knight and Speedball being his Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I believe this is what he sees. Because Speedball reminds me of Sami Zayn. You remember Sami Zayn?
Right.
He didn't get much traction to the Bloodline saga. So
he didn't or did?
You know what I'm talking about? Big traction. Like when everybody was on the Sami train, it was the Bloodline saga that got everybody in. Like, yeah. So Speedball would need something like that to turn him heel, to make him, the funny heel, the sentimental heel. He just can't be heelish by himself. It's gonna come off as goofy, very goofy, and you won't believe it. But Kevin Knight, how I was talking about, I could see him in the Hurt Syndicate or either going off with Swerve, him with gold, and he's gonna be, he's gonna need someone who's had gold, who can influence him. So somebody like MVP could talk to him. Swerve is a former world champion. He'll talk to Kevin Knight. So him being a heel would be very easy to see. But yeah, think about it. It'll make Speedball come out like $1 million. If he fused with Kevin Knight, he would eventually go over. I think everybody would see that, and that would, God forbid, I don't like it, but Tony Khan will catapult Speedball to the world championship. He'll do it. He will do it.
Yes, he will. But that's yeah. But that is one reason why I kind of do want to see Kevin Knight go as a heel and if he joins the Hurt Syndicate, like you said, I think you make Mike Bailey a super sentimental babyface, because if it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm fantasy booking to the point where this, to me, in my head, makes sense. I don't think they'll do it. You have, for a while, you build tension up there between Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, and you go out.
You can see it tonight. You saw when Kevin Knight walked out,
right,
and how Bailey was a little distant from him.
Okay.
You can feel it tonight.
So tonight's the start. Let's say, leading up to Double or Nothing, New York's a hot market. They want to make that show important. It is a stadium show, quote unquote. Let's say we see like a leading up to that or after or whatever. Hurt Syndicate, maybe we see them before or during that, and they want to find a new member, like you said. It's one of those things where Kevin Knight has a choice. MVP comes out. MVP gets in his head, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And then Speedball is kind of like, yo, like whatever. And then ultimately, bam, he joins MVP. He turns on him, joins MVP, Shelton, all these people, or the Hurt Syndicate, and whatever. You get Mike Bailey over as a babyface, and you build that matchup right there, and you could have MVP be kind of the voice of Kevin Knight. But to me, Speedball needs somebody to talk to.
That'd probably be Darby Allin, honestly,
because Speedball he's not very convincing on the mic. Even that promo we got a few weeks ago when he led up to him and MJF on that one Dynamite right before him and Kenny and Dynasty didn't sell me. There was nothing there. It was bland. It was like, a steak with a cheesesteak with nothing. It was dry.
Speedball gonna be similar to like whenever we get that Takeshita babyface run, Like, what does that look like? Because Takeshita gonna need somebody to talk for him. We got a lot of people right here who can't really talk that well in AEW, but they're great in-ring workers. So we got to have some people to get them over. So I get what you're saying with Speedball. I get it. I get it completely.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see with that. We'll see what happens with that with Kevin. I think that would be interesting. What I just said, what we just talked about. Speaking of interesting, let's talk about the man, the legend, Jericho. Not Chris Jericho, Hoss. He doesn't go by Chris Jericho anymore. He goes by Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho comes out looking like a AI version of, I don't know, a Kurt Cobain, a long blonde drunk rock star. It looks like somebody's rock and roll uncle, like a Vince Neil or some 80s rocker, standing there with no fucking shirt on, with his blazer and his, oh my. Anyway, Judas, by the way, Judas does not hit the way it does. It used to. But he comes out, talks to Renee Paquette, talks about his loss against Ricochet. Ricochet comes out, and this is, you said you wanted to turn the channel off with FTR. I wanted to turn the channel off with Ricochet. And I tweeted out, I was like, what the hell? Bald. Pause. That is Ricochet's new nickname. Ricochet comes out. He starts cutting the promos, talking about how he beats him at Dynasty. He has the Gates of Agony by his side. And Jericho just goes, bold. You know what I'm saying? Bold. Bold. I'm like, okay, that was a little, it was a little cringy. What did you think about this segment? What do you think about them? It looks like they're gonna continue Ricochet and Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho knows with wrestling fans, brain rot is the biggest thing that's going. So if he can get that bald over with Ricochet, that's all he needs. Bald in the list, because we love us some brain rot. It really questioned the IQ of your average wrestling fan, but that's a different discussion for another day. But Jericho, he knows how this goes. Like, he doesn't have to be long-winded, especially with the AEW faithful. Most of them don't want to hear him talk anyway. So if he talks in spurts, that's all he needs. And I believe he picked Ricochet himself. I don't even think Tony Khan booked this. I think Jericho did this because he knows no one likes Ricochet right now. No one wants to hear Ricochet talk. So if they don't want to hear his bald ass talk, that means they want to hear me talk. This is going to make me look good. So I think Jericho would pick this on his own. So we're going to have this feud go for a nice little while. I heard someone says you might hear the Learning Tree might come back, not the group per se, but you might get Big Bill and Brian Keith to come out of ROH to come help him out eventually. So I don't know how that would work. Don't know. I really don't care. But
I hope for my mental capacity that doesn't work, because
you're not going to be getting high guys anymore. You're not going to get that. But
look, I don't think Jericho. I don't think he's like, the same big deal, him returning as he was, obviously him, making his AEW debut. That's obvious, but he finally feels at least like the Chris Jericho from before. Not fully, but he's not doing corny stuff. Like I said, he looks like a drunk rock star from the 80s, but he's not out there, like you said, with the waving and the learning tree, and I'm the learning tree. He's not coming out to stupid music. Again, I don't mind if they're gonna extend this with him and Ricochet. I don't mind, because my question coming out of Dynasty was what was next for him, and we were kind of gonna get that answer, and we did. Do you think this leads up to Double or Nothing? Do they have a match on Dynamite? Where does this go? Who do you think benefits from this? Because I think Ricochet is going to be the one to benefit, because, again, a loss doesn't hurt somebody like Chris Jericho. You might see him challenge for not win it. Hopefully. We don't know with Tony. Hopefully. But we could see him challenge for an AEW title. But maybe this could help Ricochet him get up to maybe a TNT
Jericho
title.
or Ricochet? Which one you talking about?
I'm saying eventually in the future, Jericho could challenge for an AEW title. And if Ricochet, this helps him go over, he could maybe challenge for a TNT title. I do not think Ricochet is going to be in the world title scene. Hell to the F no. No. Because I do think Ricochet's good. His internet persona is killing him right now. His PR exactly isn't the greatest. I enjoy the shit out of him in black and gold. I enjoy him in the ring. I still think he's one of those guys that, if you're in the ring with a guy like Ricochet, Ricochet is going to help you. Who else would have made Jericho look good at Dynasty?
No one like that. So you're right. You're right.
I don't. My whole point is, Hoss, I don't hate it because I could see maybe, if they don't do the Kevin Knight and Speedball thing, which I think they should, but whatever, you could insert Ricochet because as much as I think the national champion was bullshit, whatever, like it's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. Let's get Ricochet a title that at least he could do something with. So I don't hate it in the long run. Now that they, are starting to build towards this.
Yeah, I can see the TNT title run because I did a video on YouTube a while back that had Ricochet and Kevin Knight going for the national championship. I fantasy booked that a few months ago.
Okay, yeah.
So I can really see that because that'd be very entertaining. But that'll keep Kevin Knight as a face for now because Ricochet can't turn face no time soon. We'll probably revisit that back in 27. He can't think about that no time soon. But yeah, Jericho on the other hand, I just can't see Jericho putting people over for the rest of the year. Maybe about 2 or 3 more times, and he's going to get ramped up as a heel and going to go for the title. I believe he's going to be in the main event, and the fans are going to hate it. They're going to hate it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's the point. You need a heel that they're going to hate other than MJF, and Swerve still gets cheered as a heel. Chris Jericho is not going to get cheered at all. So that would work. So we'll see. I'll probably say by Wrestle Dream, you'll see Chris Jericho in the main event.
Yes, I agree. Moving on, because we still got a couple things here. I'm not going to spend too much on this one.
Okay.
Tekla had a segment. Alex Windsor interrupts. Threw some shots.
It was a train wreck. Go ahead.
Windsor just threw some shots saying that she was fired from New Japan. Tekla kind of, I enjoyed the shit out of me some Tekla Kev. But this was weird. What give me your thoughts about this? Because I really don't have any.
I like Tekla too, but her promos come off as robotic now because she's gonna drop bitch, just to get that pop. She's gonna call him some dumb bitch ass. She's gonna drop it. And after that, there's no telling where it's gonna go. But she has the energy, but she gets very robotic with the promos. And Alex Windsor she's not the greatest talker either. She's okay, but truth be told, we're not interested in that beef because Alex Windsor doesn't have a chance against Tekla. She don't. Like Jamie Hayter just lost. And this is why I'll be coming in with Tony Khan. He's not really generating the energy for the women's division. And that hurts him because how many matches we had tonight? What, 5, 6? About 5 or 6 matches tonight?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Your average Dynamite has 5 or 6 matches. We could have 2 women's matches in there. We could have them. So, but that's a different discussion. But just back to here with Tekla and Windsor, I didn't really care for the segment. I'm glad they had the segment, but it wasn't great.
I agree. Moving on, because I do not see Alex Windsor as your world champion.
No.
When maybe the division will heat up a little more when Mercedes comes back. We'll find out. Going on a little bit about women. I will save the Ospreay match for last.
Okay.
Camille versus Willow. And again, if you guys didn't hear our talk about Darby and MJF and all that, we spend a good 30 minutes, 31 minutes talking about it. I encourage you guys to watch this. If you're listening to this on the audio platform, Spotify, Apple, wherever you, Amazon, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasting, I don't think I forgot about you. Don't think me and Hoss, Kev, we don't forget about you guys listening on the audio platforms. So we appreciate it. But yeah, Camille versus Willow. Camille having her first match in God knows how fucking long. I think the last
500
time
plus days.
right, the last time I saw her, she was still kind of Mercedes's little sidekick, not little, but sidekick. But I like the present. Or I thought Camille looked fine. The match was okay. Willow, I don't know if she's hitting for me in her matches. I know people liked her versus Persephone. I said it on my review show shortly before you joined us. It didn't hit for me, and it was really because of Willow. Her and Mina really didn't do much for me. The Willow Nightingale, and I like her. I think she's I think they're not marketing her the way they should. She's an incredible baby face. I know Kev has compared her to like the Bianca Belairs, where Bianca's very marketable, to little girls, but especially the black little girls. You see them in the crowd with that. That's who she markets to. They should do this to Willow, and they haven't really marketed her that uber baby face, which I think they should, because I think she's great. But what did you think about Camille making her first match? And again, God knows how long. And do you think this was I think we're not going to see her again. Do you think we're going to see her again after this?
Chris, I'm going to tell you this. I've been consistently watching AEW going on almost 2 years now. This was my first time seeing Camille in action, honestly. So I was very curious to see how this was going to go. And she actually impressed me. She has nice moves. When they call it a brick house, she has nice size. She's stout. So yes. With Willow though, and Willow has been very, what can I say, predictable with her finishes lately. I want to say the last 3 out of 4 matches, they've been roll-up victories. She rolled up Lana Cross, she rolled up Persephone, and she rolled up Camille tonight. So is she really hurt, or is Tony Khan nerfing her to make these other women look strong? Which one is it? Because me personally, I think Willow should be in the main event for the women. I believe she's gotten too big for the TBS championship. She should be that strong baby face going for the women's championship, especially with Tony Storm out of the picture for now. So, and earlier today on X, I said Camille should win. And I'm just like, they would have gave us a nice feud going into Double or Nothing with Willow. But yeah, I agree with you. We probably won't see Camille after this no time soon. They're trying to push American Gladiators.
Yes.
They said it loud and clear on the show. And I like Camille. I mean, like I said, this is the first time. It may be just me being very interested in how she was going to look. I like it. I like the big size woman. That's why I'm big on Megan Bain. I like Lana Cross. So
I'm so happy you brought Megan Names Bain up, because I got 2 things. One, I'm going to start with Megan Bain. First off, I'll start with Willow. Because this is going to be short. What you said about Willow, she should be challenging for the world title, leads into Megan Bain. So yes, I agree, because Megan Bain should be the TBS champion. Megan Bain is somebody that they build up. I think not great, but they kind of took the Hook route, where she goes out there, and again, Hook is not dominant at all. But I'm just she did this better. But she doesn't talk for a while. She just goes out there and dominates. Trying to be this tough girl. She eventually speaks. I think she could have done more with Willow, considering they already were beefing because they had the AEW Tag Team Championship connection. I said this weeks ago when Megan Bain pinned them in the match on Dynamite. Had Megan Bain versus Willow. I think I wanted that match to happen at Revolution. And and they said they gave Lana Cross on the pre-show. I'm like, why? So I don't know. Those are the because like you said, Willow should be in that world title scene. But with Mercedes coming back, I think they're going to present her that baby face that we think Willow should be, because Tekla is going to be the person. She's going to be the heel. Mercedes is going to be the biggest star. Unless you have Mercedes go heel in the future or whatever, then you can build Willow. I hate to say it. I just don't know how she's going to fit in the world title scene if Mercedes is that baby face going in.
Chris, you know what's coming. You know what's coming, Chris. When Mercedes comes back, she's going to bury the division as a face. She's going to bury the division. Tony Khan's going to do it.
Her second run.
Yes, she's going to.
I hope not, because she's finally dropping these freaking meaningless independent titles.
I get exactly what you're saying, but that's how Tony Khan books. When he gives you that belt, you're going to whoop ass for a while. And if he likes you, you're going to whoop ass for a long time. So Toni Storm had the belt 4 times. She whooped ass for a long time. You think all this money he's paying Mercedes Moné, you think she ain't going to hold that title for probably at least a year, or at least till Toni Storm comes back healthy? Man, you know what this is, Chris. That's why I want Mercedes to come back. But I know what's going to happen. I just know it. She's going to bury the division again. And it won't be her fault this time. It's going to be Tony Khan's doing.
I hope not, because again, her first run, I just don't want this to be her first run.
Mm-hmm.
This division can't afford that. This division has potential. You have Megan Bayne, you have Willow, you have Chris Statlander, you have Tekla. Athena, you have Persephone. You have so many people. I look, this is Kev. I'm starting to believe him more every single day. He believes that Britt Baker will never be back in AEW. I believe that there's a 20% chance, maybe 15, maybe even a 10. Mm-hmm. But if we need somebody to really get the spark from, and I don't know if Mercedes really is going to be that person, like you said, she's not going to be there to help the division. Thunder Rosa, she ain't worth shit anymore.
No.
Jamie Hayter, they nerfed her down like a motherfucker compared to how she was when she was with Britt Baker.
She got buried on Sunday. We could stop talking about Jamie Hayter as a singles
competitor. Like the only thing, right? Like the only person I can think of that can make this division spark, that's one of the AEW quote unquote originals. She's not really original, but been there for a decent amount of time now, is Tony, and she's not going to be there for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, man. Like Mercedes gonna come back, and she might put a couple girls over again just to get ready for the Owen. She's gonna win the Owen, and she's gonna win at Wembley. Get ready for it. Just get ready. So Tekla, she better not get too comfortable with that belt no time soon.
No, she better not. She better enjoy the matches and feuds she's having, because when Mercedes moan, like Mr. Cornette likes to say, she's going to run that bitch. She is going to be the CEO. So,
and before we move on, I know Kev said this about Persephone. Her contract comes up in September. If she's still trapped in ROH, you don't think she'll go to NXT? Tony Khan better do something.
Look, I'm going to be honest. It's nothing against NXT. I did this when because I'm a black and gold mark. I didn't watch the 2.0 era. I started watching NXT in 2025 because of because of Kev, and they were really, you could smell the partnership with TNA coming. Mm-hmm. So like early 2025 is when I started watching NXT again, because I didn't care for the product. Whatever. I'm at the point now, I'm not turned off by it, but it's nothing to do with the talent or anything. It's a lot of them are moving up. You know, I understand you got the rebuild. Not to get into NXT real quick, because you and Kev do a good job of covering, which, Chad, if you guys did not see him and Kevin Haas's review last night for NXT, go check it out. They did it last night following the show. It was very, very good stuff. I enjoyed it. I missed NXT, so I got to hear your guys' review to catch up on the show. but they're in that rebuild phase. They're in that rebuild phase, and with JC, I'm speaking now towards women because we're talking about Persephone. With JC Jane, when Lola drops that title, she's out. Tatum's not really hitting, and she's on the main, like, as a world champion. Izzy, I don't know about her. My point is, if Persephone does go to NXT, she's going to change that locker room up in a pretty good way. And I hope Tony at least puts her on Dynamite to see what she could really do, who she could tell a story with. And Haas, I'm going to say you what Kev says. The one thing about Persephone and the one reason why he, and I think I'm starting to agree with him now, I don't know if he really agrees. I'm kind of paraphrasing what I think what he meant, is because Persephone speaks perfect English. So I agree, man. I agree. Anything else with that one before I talk about the Ospreay Hechizero?
Like I say, I hope to see more Camille, but I'm not gonna hold my breath on it.
No, I agree. She has great size. Her and Megan Bain would do a great, but if they don't know how to book the big men, they sure as hell don't know how to book the big women. She's there to get the publicity for American Gladiators, nothing else. Yep. And I genuinely feel bad about it, but because she was a star, co-star on a big movie, and they didn't even fucking promote it with her.
Right.
So moving on. Saving this for last. Because again, the world title stuff was very important, and it was on her mind. So we had Will Ospreay versus Hechizero. First off, you know who Hechizero reminds me of? And guys, if you're listening on the audio, I encourage you to come, not just check out our faces, but come to the YouTube and check us out, because you're about to see who I think Hechizero reminds me of. Chat, this is who I thought Hechizero was in a mask.
Not Ishii.
Hechizero looks like Tomohiro Ishii in a fucking luchador mask. I had the same complaint about El Clone the other day on our me and Kev did the Dynasty review, because he had the fuking hologram mask. A lot of these people, I'm convinced a lot of
the same guy. El Clone and hologram not the same guy.
I am convinced that these people are just switching masks with each other and calling themselves different names. Because what the hell? That Hechizero's, he's lame. Yeah, he's fucking lame, bro. He looks just like that. He's lame. Anyway, he goes against Will Ospreay. Went against Will Ospreay here. Ospreay continues to sell that shoulder, the neck. Did some spots again, landing on the neck there. Wasn't terrible. Hechizero really got a lot of the offense there. They're really trying to sell this neck, guys. Really trying to sell this neck with Will Ospreay, but Ospreay hits the hidden blade. He's getting momentum, and it looks like the Death Riders isn't over. That story between him and Ospreay, because out comes his former United Empire partner in Mark Davis to attack Will Ospreay, and it looks like Ospreay again, Haas, is going to have to go up against another Death Rider. And they're probably not going to move on from this Death Rider situation. United Empire, now they're definitely, because I know some people in the chat yesterday or last week were trying to give me a history lesson on why United, when I know United Empire. Obviously, Mark Davis, Kyle Fletcher, and Will Ospreay were United Empire. Mark Davis doing this, Haas, they're doing Anarchy in the Arena, United Empire versus Death Riders, and it's going to be fucking dumb.
Will they add the Don Callis family? Because Will Ospreay is beefing with both now. Will we have a 3-team Anarchy in the Arena?
I don't want to plan too ahead. Last year, I think it was because the War Games was in November, so they ran Blood and Guts in November. But from my knowledge, Blood and Guts usually isn't that far away. I do want to see if I could pull that up, because it's usually in like September,
Yeah.
They've been doing them since 2021 right here. So okay, so the first Blood and Guts was in July. So May, July, June. So okay, so they've done it in May and June. So technically, next month would be Blood and Guts season. So let's just say they do it at their normal time because they did it last year in November to compete, quote unquote, with Survivor Series. That's no question. I could maybe see the United Empire beating the Death Riders and the Anarchy in the arena. If that doesn't happen, what you're saying, I could see the United Empire beating Death Riders and Anarchy in the arena, and at Blood and Guts, maybe we get that. If we don't get that at Blood and Guts, we get United Empire and the Don Callis family.
Okay.
Because I think Don Callis family has more fish to fry with Takeshita and Okada. Kyle Fletcher's still not there. I think you would want to have him in the match. Josh Alexander's not there. So you still have some people with injuries, and I think you could hold that back until Blood and Guts, especially if they do that on later on in the year, which I think it would be the end of June, early July. So yeah, I would say I think it's going to look like it's going to be United Empire versus Death Riders at Double or Nothing Anarchy in the arena, which you could see it because they're building up Mark Davis, and that whole story is going to be there. Haas, what'd you think about this match? What do you think about the whole thing with Mark Davis? And just you got the floor, man. What do you think about this whole situation?
Oh yeah, this is a Will Ospreay showcase. Pretty decent match. Hechizero got some good offense in, working the neck, and we see that Will Ospreay is online just like we are, because the discourse online has been Will Ospreay doesn't sell and Bruv doesn't sell. Well, he was selling his ass off tonight. He was selling that arm. He was
listening
neck.
to Kev.
Yes, he heard it all.
He heard it.
So because he was like he was selling Girl Scout cookies out here. The man was selling everything. I mean, they stopped the fight for like 2 or 3 minutes, went to break. They have medical staff to look at his neck again with all the kinesio tape. So I guess he just wanted, like, I do sell. I'm not super Billy Goat. I am Billy Goat, but I do sell for you. So I can appreciate that, even though he did over embellish the selling just a bit. So, but what I don't understand is, like, you got Mark Davis, old Duckzilla comes in and power drives him. Why are we keep letting Will Ospreay take these neck shots? Why? It just serves no purpose.
And he's gonna do the Anarchy in the arena in a little over a month. That's gonna be awesome.
I'm with JD and Solid Monster on this one. I do not want to see Will Ospreay take any more neck shots.
No, I don't either. I do not either. We don't need it. And look, you know what, Haas? I think if they don't do it for a while and they do it when it's necessary, not just a power driver, any landing on his neck, but specifically the power driver, I think that we would get a pop out of it. I think you don't use that for just even until Double or Nothing. Or whatever, even a little bit after. I think they should save it for their feud going into Wembley. Whoever the hell Will Ospreay goes, if it's MJF especially, power drive. We shouldn't see a power driver till then. I think it's gonna mean more. I think we're like, oh, like they haven't touched his neck in a while. Like I don't know. I think it's I agree. They're kind of overdoing it a little bit. But they're really trying to emphasize it. Yeah, go ahead.
And he's stuck with Mox. When you're stuck in this Death Rider vortex, you're
never getting out.
No, you're not, because think about it. You're gonna hit with these Death Riders, the paradigm shift, all these DDTs. Then you're gonna be beefing with Pac again, Poison Ranas, and the Brutalizer. All these men use neck moves. This is the worst feud that Will Ospreay could be in right now, because everybody's using neck moves, every last one of them. Even Danny Garcia, when he pushed you in the Dragon Tamer, you're on your neck. Your body's just hanging. So Tony Khan did not think this through. I guess Will he let Will Ospreay get the pin. He's like, yeah, I want to look tough. Put me against the toughest faction in the company. Yeah, everybody with fucking neck moves. Claudio comes in with this big uppercut, dead in the neck, like.
And he does that thing where and your neck is like between his legs and he lifts you up and you're upside down, like
right, like Ospreay is not catching a break with these guys. Even Marina Shafir, she might put him in mother's milk. She's holding his neck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I feel sorry for Ospreay right now. He's not even one of my favorites. I enjoy him. I enjoy his work, but we need him around. So I'm tired of this neck work for Ospreay. That's what I got to say about it, man.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I agree with Alexander in the chat too. The power driver should be more protected in general. I think it's one of those things where, like, the super kicks, dive between the ropes, nothing's protected really. The main moves that once were even the DDT, Jake the Snake used to do that, and you weren't kicking out of that back in the day. And I think some older wrestling fans could testify to that. So, a lot of the moves were overplayed. I agree with that one. The power driver through the table to Omega Dynasty looked gnarly. Yeah, it was a good power driver.
And one more thing.
Go ahead.
Why does match go so long? It just kept going.
It didn't need to go so long, man. If this was going to go, no, especially when because of the match we got at the main event, I'm not going to complain too much. If we would have gotten a full-length main event, but I agree. This shouldn't have gone longer than it did, especially Hechizero. Who cares?
Again, it felt like 20 minutes. It might have been 12. It felt like 20 to 25.
This is what I felt like during the match. I mean, I could have done that. I could have done that, and I remember, oh shit, I got a review to do. I can't do that. I'm literally taking notes. Like, anyway, guys, we're gonna give you our closing thoughts here. And then we're gonna say goodnight here. I appreciate you guys joining here tonight for AEW Spring Break Dynamite. Thought it was a fine show. I know we talk a little bit about follow-up, and I'm gonna ask you the question at the end, and then I'll give you the floor to give you your closing thoughts. Did they follow up on this pay-per-view? And I'll tell you why. We got Camille attacking Willow at Dynasty. We got the match. We did get Darby Allin beating Andrade. They tied it into the media scrum. They had the match. I don't think it should have been right away, but they had it on Dynamite. They followed up from what they did from Dynasty, sort of. Not bad. Tommaso Ciampa coming out, moving on from the TNT title, saying he wants a world championship, whether we like it or not. He's moving on from what happened on Dynasty. I think that's following up, considering he was the first contender and didn't win. He's moving on. The only thing is with the Ospreay and Death Rider stuff, but they're obviously clearly looking like they're building that towards their next pay-per-view. So, and the same thing with FTR and Co. That's the one thing I complain. That went nowhere. Same thing with the Tekla and Windsor stuff. So I would say, I enjoyed this better than the Dynamite after Revolution. I will say that. But it wasn't bad. The main event match was not good, but I think Darby again did a good job of getting his people invested. We're gonna see what happens on Dynamite next week. We're gonna be here next week talking about the fallout from today.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a bad show. Other than that main event, but 2 questions. Well, not really 2, just 1, and then I'll give you the floor. Hoss, did you think what do you think about them following up from this pay-per-view? And then the floor is yours.
It was just wrestling as usual for me. Again, I can't say the wrestling is always good. And I talked about this last night in the NXT review. With me, I watch wrestling for different reasons than other people. Some people love to watch, just matches and, see the moves and whatnot. I enjoy moves too, but I get to the point where good wrestling makes me numb. And AEW makes me numb with a lot of these matches because we see a lot of the same characters every week. So it gets very really redundant. So if we don't move narratives with them, I get bored. So that's why I say it's another middle of the road episode. I can't say they followed up Dynasty because Dynasty was average to me as well. I would have gave it to a 6 to maybe a 7 out of 10. Good effort. Wasn't great, but good effort. And this follow-up, it just fell flat for me with Darby. Like, I was scared that Darby was going to win. He won. The match just fell flat. And for your babyface new champion, you can't afford for that to fall flat. You can let it fall flat as a heel, but as a babyface, you can't have that. So we've already started this title reign not off the best foot. So, but I'm gonna give it some hope. I'm gonna believe in it.
I am too, man. I am too. I don't see the point of transitioning the belts for hometown moments right now. Again, should have happened last year. You're 9 months too late. Darby's as cold as he's ever been in his career, in his AEW run right now. And it sucks, but I like.
Heat him up? Did this heat him up? Because I don't think it did.
Not at all. Not at all. No. And I think that's why they try to do the match that quick, to try to heat him up and make him like, oh, but it's like, you told me who was winning when Sting came out already. You told, like, it just, I don't know. Nothing that didn't add anything. Him beating MJF the way he didn't add anything.
I got one question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel like the WWE people that get paid to watch AEW? How do you think they felt about it, and how are they going to explain this to their superiors?
They're probably like, they're probably like, what the fuck? Like, they're trying to, well, what are they doing? Because I would be laughing, honestly. I'd be laughing. I mean, I know shit's not sweet over there, but it's, you know, I'm not saying they were on this big buzz or anything, but let's just face it. With MJF as champion, people are interested and they're talking about AEW, whether it's a good or bad way. I wouldn't be surprised if
they steal from each other.
Right, and I wouldn't be surprised if those guys don't want to do those jobs right now. And again, it sucks because I really like Darby and I'm really happy for him, but it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time, Hoss. It wasn't the right time. Hoss, do you got anything else to add from tonight's Dynamite?
It was mid.
It was mid. It was mid, ladies and gentlemen. That was your AEW Dynasty. Oh, my Lord. A lot of dynasties in the DYs. This was your AEW Dynamite post show here on April 15th, 2026. This has been the Sports Jedi Network crew. PGH Chris and Hoss Knucklebrew. Good night. Hope you guys are safe. Thank you to our sponsors, Dude Wipes, Blackout Coffee, and G Fuel. Tomorrow night, TNA Impact on the Rumble, SmackDown on the Rumble, and we got WrestleMania weekend. It's going to be a good one. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Alexander, Aaron, Image Page or Image Nation Project, excuse me. Conhager, Coniger or whatever, 82, Sherry Mascari. Thank you guys for joining us. Elliot, Daniel, you guys are great. This has been Hoss. This has been PGH Chris. Good night, everybody.